Good evening everyone, and welcome to day 3, the summary and live Q&A of the first Shifting Perspective Initiative webinar. I welcome you, I appreciate you being here, and I hope you gain some value from this. So as I said on day 1, this is intended, or this sequence is intended as an extension of the live broadcast that I did over the last couple of weeks. No worries if you didn't see them. It was on Think and Grow Rich, delivered by Bob Proctor himself, his insights, and some further information around the courses that are available with the Proctor Gallagher Institute, which I am humbly a part of. There won't be too much, well, there'll be a little bit more today on the slides because I've just kind of summarised things, but this can be listened to, and I will read everything that is on the slides so you can listen to it without watching it. So if you're like me, you might be listening to this in the car, because I do a lot of my webinar and personal development listening in the car. And then if I take value from it, then I tend to replay it at a later date to get the notes. SPI itself, the Shifting Perspective Initiative, it has been designed to help people get out of their own way. You are the only real thing that limits the things that you want to do in your life. So SPI opens more opportunities, ideas and results in order to get you closer to your goal. So this week for the 3 sessions, apologies if you hear the little ding thing going on. It's having issues connecting to Facebook. This evening it's dropping in and out a little bit, I think, but this recording will be going on to YouTube, which is possibly where you're watching it now, so hi! And I will also post it in the Facebook group if you are watching with me live. That will be done before I go to bed this evening. So this week we have covered 3 days. This is day 3. On day 1 we covered how our mind works, which then leads into day 2, how to get it working for us, to get the very best that we can out of it. And then today we are literally going to summarise everything that we've covered in the last 2 days, whistle stop tour, so that if you are watching this video first, that's all good, because it will give you ideas of which video you want to go back to pick out the information that is most relevant to you. So let's get started. So we're going to recap day 1, we're going to recap day 2, and then I'm going to answer some questions. If you do have any questions, please put them into the comments box. I have had a few that have come in through social media and across various platforms and email and things. So I have 6 or 7 or so that I will answer that have come in already. But if you do have something you want to ask, please just drop it into the comments or drop me a message. I should be able to pick them up while I am recording this. So we discussed first off on Tuesday the higher faculties, and they are the 6 things that separate us from every other creature on the planet. So we can see, we can hear, we can taste, smell and touch, but so can our pets, so can horses, so can fish. Okay, so our higher faculties are the things that set us aside, and they are the reason, our thinking ability, our intuition, kind of like your 6th sense. It's that little voice on the inside, not your paradigm, but the little voice on the inside that links you to the creative, or the creator, sorry, the supreme being, God, the universe, the infinite, the spirit, whatever it is that you call it. Doesn't have to be religious if you're not religious. I know I'm not. But I still believe there's a higher purpose up there, and our intuition keeps us in contact with that. We have our will, our sustained concentration, our memory. We all have a photographic memory. Some of us just don't have any film. Remember that quote? It was quite a nice one, wasn't it? We all have a photographic memory. We just need to train it. We have our imagination. Everything you see around you, phones, houses, books, computers, everything was first designed and imagined in someone's mind, and they then made it into a physical product. So all the information for absolutely everything you've ever wanted or ever will want is already here. Cavemen could have had the knowledge to make phones, but they weren't technologically advanced enough to get there yet. It's taken that amount of time for us to advance and make the technology and make the machinery and get the ideas to be able to make the things that we have today. And perception. So your point of view, how you look at something. And we discussed that if you draw a number 6 on a piece of paper and you look at it, and somebody stands opposite you and looks at it as well, they'll see a number 9, you'll see a number 6. You're both right. It just depends on which direction you're looking at it from. We then went into why we need a goal, and I highly recommend this book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It really goes into kind of like how the mind works, and how it can kind of be used for your benefit as well. It is an absolutely brilliant book. Absolutely brilliant. Really, really simple to understand. Lots of examples. Really opens up your understanding of you. I have also done a 15 series or a 15 blog post series, if that's a thing. I don't quite know how you call a collection of blog posts on my blog. So rethinkyourperspective.com/blog, where I go over each of the chapters in turn with my takeaways and a brief summary of each one. But nowhere near as much information as you will get out of the actual book. It's on Amazon, as are most things, and I'm sure you can pick it up in most places. We then looked at what is our mind. So our mind is not our brain. We are not our body. We don't say, I am hand or I am arm. If we cut off the arm, you lose 15% of your body. You don't lose 15% of you. So your mind is the control switch that sends the signals to the brain, which is the electrical switching station, which then sends those signals to the body, which is basically the manifestation of those electrical signals. Make sense? If you do want a further in-depth on this, please go back to day 1 and watch that video there. This is just a whistle-stop tour. Within the mind, we have the conscious and the subconscious. The subconscious mind, or heart, as the ancient Greeks referred to it, is your emotional mind. It's completely subjective. It has to do everything that it's told to do. It's where your paradigms live. I'm going to go paradigms in a minute. It feels what you're thinking, and it has no free will. It can only do as it's told. And your conscious mind is your educated mind, your rational mind, where you do all of your thinking. It's where your higher faculties are, as well as your sensory inputs. So all of the information that comes from your outside world goes into your conscious mind. All of your internal higher faculties are also there. You decide which one you listen to. Our conscious mind has free will to think and to choose. You choose what you think about. No one can force you to choose anything that you don't want to think. It's true. Lots of examples in day 1. We then moved on to our paradigms. A new term that's coming about at the moment is neuro-linguistic programming. So again, this was covered on day 1. So lots more information on there. But in 1934, Dr. Thurman Fleet decided or realised that the healing arts had no visual image of the mind. So the healing arts were only treating the physical symptoms. So he created this little stick person, which is a big circle above a little circle. The big circle is split in half across the middle. And above the line is the conscious mind, below is the subconscious. Remember, we've just spoken about what the conscious and subconscious mind are. The little circle at the bottom is your body with 2 arms, 2 legs. So you think using your conscious mind. Whatever you're thinking about creates the feelings and emotions that you feel. That puts your body into a certain vibration. The vibration creates the action. And whatever you put out, you get back. So the universe reacts, which creates your conditions, your circumstances, and your environment. So if you're thinking negative, you're going to feel pretty crappy. You're putting out a really bad vibration. Get bad vibration back. Not so great conditions, circumstances, environment. Because our paradigms control all of these things. So our ability to earn money, our perception, our use of time, our creativity, our effectiveness, our productivity, and our logic. So if our subconscious paradigm is controlling all of these things, if we're thinking negative, all of these things are going to be negative as well. But if we can flip it to positive, then we can flip it so that we can think positively about all of these things and we can make changes to the paradigm. And we then went through the difference between negative thoughts and positive thoughts. So if you're thinking negatively, you are going to be in worry, doubt, and fear. You're going to be anxious. You then suppress the anxiety because that's what humans do. This causes depression, which is just anger turned inwards. And this puts your body at dis-ease. Or you can think positive thoughts. You can get rid of the worry, doubt, and fear by increasing your knowledge and your understanding of the problem that you have. That knowledge and understanding gives you the belief that you can solve it, that you can get to where you want to go to, builds up your faith. Not religious faith, just faith. This puts you in a state of wellness, which you express. You can't help it. And that puts the body at ease. So negative thoughts, you put the body at dis-ease. Positive thoughts, you are at ease. And it's your choice whether you think negatively or positively. In one of my previous seminars, in both of them actually, in the Planetuding and Think Like a Winner and Become One, I have gone through the laws of the universe. And one of them is the law of polarity. So absolutely everything around you just is. It's only how we see it that creates whether it's good or bad, in our opinion. So absolutely everything around you, everything that happens, everything that's said, has equal amounts of good and bad in it. It's entirely up to you whether you focus on the good or you focus on the bad. Focus on the good, you get good feelings, get good vibration, good actions, pushing out good into the universe, you get good back. Think bad, see the bad in everything, you put bad emotion, bad vibration, you're putting out bad vibration, you're going to get bad back. It's entirely up to you what you choose. We then looked at why we need to keep our mind open, and it was all about wishing versus believing. So wishing is really wanting something, setting your mind on it, really hoping it's going to come to you, and waiting for somebody to do something about it that's not you. Or you have believing, which is the same as having a dream, except that you are doing something to get towards it. You are believing that you can do it. You have faith. You have the belief that you can get it. And you're taking the action steps as they appear, which come through your intuition from the Supreme Being. It's all working. It's all connected. Okay, we then did a homework exercise. Did you do it? I hope so. Because all of this stuff, repetition is key. Keep hearing it, keep hearing the same message, and it will filter down into your subconscious. But you also have to apply it. Otherwise, you just expand the knowing-doing gap. So what you know and what you do are completely different things. So what you know is controlled by your conscious mind, and what you do is controlled by your subconscious mind. The further apart these are, the more frustrated you are. Because you know you can do better, and you know you should be doing something else, but you don't do it. It's called the knowing-doing gap, and it is one of the key parts alongside setting a worthy goal for you to have something to aim for that is part of the program that I facilitate with the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Any more information on that, please get in touch. I'd be happy to speak to you. So, did you do the homework? Did you apply what you were learning? I hope so. We then moved into day 2, and we started off with the topic of, can you damage the mind? And we discussed yesterday, on yesterday's seminar, that you can't damage the mind because the mind is a spiritual thing. It isn't tangible. There isn't a physical mind to damage. You can damage the brain, and we spoke about strokes, cutting off oxygen to the brain, head traumas, that sort of thing, all causing brain cells to die. and we covered very briefly, because I love making sure that everyone is aware of it, because it's so simple, so quick, and so easy to save a lot of a person by noticing fast. Okay, their face droops, their arms, they lose strength in one arm, their speech becomes slurred. You do not have a lot of time to get on the phone to the paramedics. None of this 111 or the non-emergency number. Is 999 instantly. Act fast. The more quickly, or the quicker you act, the more of a person you will save. Because once the fire starts in the brain, so they call it the fire in the brain because it's blocking off the oxygen, it's killing brain cells. The longer that goes on for before that person gets help, the harder it is to rehabilitate them. But there are some studies out there now that is actually showing we can repair the mind. We can repair the brain, sorry. So brain cells die, either through stroke or head injury or something like that, and somebody loses a use of part of their body. So with a stroke, you tend to lose the use of your left hand or your left arm. And they've actually found that by somebody else physically going and opening and closing the hand and moving the arm and bending the elbow, they can actually, through repetition, retrain healthy brain cells to replace the ones that have died. Lots and lots of really fascinating information research going on into all of that at the moment. I'm not a brain surgeon, I'm not a doctor, but I've just heard about the research and it is fascinating. Really, really good. Okay, from damaging the mind, we looked at the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind a little bit more. I related the conscious and subconscious to an iceberg. You can see 10% of an iceberg. The other 90% is below the water. You'll never see it. Think Titanic. They thought they missed, but there's so much more iceberg under the surface. So the conscious mind, where you're thinking, where you're rational, where your short-term memory is, where your willpower, your higher faculties, 10%. 90% or 95% is habitual behaviour. It controls what you do day to day. And I've mentioned a couple of times experimenting with it by noticing which shoe you put on first. And then the next time you go to put your shoes on, try and put the other shoe on first and see how uncomfortable it makes you feel. Because it's a habit. It's your habit to put your left leg in first, in your trousers, for example. It's a habit to put your right sock on first. It's a habit to brush your hands with your right hand, brush your teeth with your right hand. Try doing it with the opposite side, and you'll see it's actually really difficult. Because it's a habit, and you need to change the habit. Okay, the conscious mind, the thinking mind, can do what it wants. You tell it what to do. The subconscious mind, I love this quote. It says, thoughts are like seeds. So what you plant in your mind can be flowers or weeds. So the mind is basically like the earth. You can plant absolutely anything in the earth, and as long as it's got the right nutrients and water, it will grow. So you could grow nightshade, a deadly poison, right next to corn, a sweet food. And the earth will grow both of them. Doesn't care that one's a poison and one's a food. It will grow both of them equally. And your mind is the same. Whatever you plant by what you think about will grow in the mind. And the mind doesn't care if it's negative or positive. It just grows the idea. And that's where anxiety comes from. Because you put in an idea that's negative and your mind just grows it. What if? What if this? What are they going to think? It's how our minds work, unfortunately. But you're now becoming aware. So you can do things to hopefully turn it around and get your mind working for you. We then moved on to our frequencies of thought. So they're levels of vibration, and you are in harmony with the things on your level. So as the bottom line shows, the thoughts are on that level of vibration, on that frequency of thought, and they're getting results at that level. When you make a decision to go for a goal that is higher than where you are now, you need to be thinking on that level. Because if you don't move your thoughts up to where the goal is, so that your thoughts are in harmony with your goal, your goal will just fizzle out because you're still down where you are now. You're focusing on your results where you are now instead of focusing on where you want to be. To reach a goal and make that goal become your results, you need to be thinking and acting like the person you want to become. And I go into that in a lot more detail in the day 2 recording. So feel free to go and have a look at that. Maybe after this video, if you're watching live. Okay, we then touched on some approaches and some techniques. So first off, we started with decisions. So you'll notice on the frequencies of thought, to get to a goal, you have to make the decision to go for the goal. If you don't make a decision, there's nothing to aim for. So you need to decide on a goal. And then, as Tony Robbins said in this quote on the screen, it says, stay committed to your decisions, but stay flexible in your approach. So your goal is your destination. It's where you're going. It's where you've programmed the sat-nav to go. How you get there is going to be a bit flexible because you'll have a rough idea. Okay, I need to go north and then I need to go east and then I need to go north. But if when you're going east, there's a roadblock, they've closed the road, or there's been an accident, or the bridge fell down, or there's a flood, or anything like that, you need to change direction and go a different way. So you might need to go north for a little bit more before you go east. And getting to a goal in your mind, in your physical reality as well, is exactly the same. So you know where you're going, you've made the decision, you've made the committed decision. Don't go back on it. If it turns out to be the wrong one, you just make another decision. You don't ever go back on the one you've already made. The decisions you make are based on where you are and what you know, the information that you have at that moment. And it's been said that the most successful people on the planet make decisions quickly because they know what they want and they go back on them very slowly, if at all. They'll just make a new decision if they made the wrong one. More information might come to light that they didn't have at the time. But you cannot wait for that information. Otherwise, you'd never make a decision. So decide what you want, make a decision, and be flexible in your approach. So you might have to change direction a couple of times, but you're still going to that same place. We then looked at habits, and I recommended another book to you, Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he goes through deciding on the person that you want to be, and then deciding what kind of habits that person has. So what kind of habits do you need to have to be that person? He then also covers temptation habits. So you'll only do the thing that you want to do when you have done the things that you need to do. So for me, I would quite like to sit and watch a film tomorrow night. I haven't watched a film in quite a while. But I'm only going to be able to watch it if I've got my get done list done tomorrow. Okay? Otherwise, one, I won't enjoy the film because I'm thinking, oh, well, I've got this to do and I'm supposed to have done that and I haven't done this and I can't relax. But that's the bliss of having a get done list. Or a to-do list. Nah, I don't do to-do list. I'll explain get done lists in a minute. Okay, we also have implementation habits. So I use the example of losing weight or wanting to go for a run every morning. So you've made the decision, I'm going to go for a run every single morning. In my case, it's yoga because I can't run anymore because I have tendonitis in my feet. It's great fun. I can run for about 2 to 3 weeks maximum, and then I can't walk for a while. So I do other activities instead, and it's fine, it's great. But I choose to do yoga every morning. So for me, I make sure that when I go to bed in the evening, my yoga mat is already laid out. I have on my phone a playlist on YouTube of my favourite morning yoga videos. Most of mine are from Yoga with Adriene, because she's awesome. Really, really easy to understand. Great sense of humour, and she puts in modifications. So she adapts to her audience, and she's brilliant. So I have a few videos of hers on a playlist, and I set my yoga mat up the night before. So when I wake up in the morning, when my alarm goes off, I literally have to roll out of bed and everything's ready to go. So if your goal is to go for a run every morning, lie out your running stuff the night before. So get your trainers lined up. Make sure they're dry if you've been out for a wet run. Get your trousers, your shorts, whatever it is that you wear, lay it all out so that when you get up, it's all there. You can just put it all on. He also mentions in the book about habit tracking. So, like I've said already, humans are visual learners. We need to be able to see. We see in pictures. So having a habit tracker, which is literally as simple as either doing it on a diary or doing it on a grid, ticking off each day that you do your habit. And after a while, when you've got quite a nice long streak going, it gets harder not to do the thing that you're tracking. Because you're like, oh, well, I've got this far now. I don't want to give up. It's also very well implemented on apps as well. So, for example, Duolingo, the language learning app, it has a day tracker. And if you haven't done Duolingo that day, it sends you some nudges. And if you don't do it, you lose your streak. Now, for me, I'm on 124 days now, whoop, whoop, for learning French. I would be absolutely devastated if I missed a day. So I always make sure, doesn't matter if it's just when I'm going to bed in the evening, I make sure I do one lesson a day, minimum, to keep that streak going. And my little girl's the same. I think she's on 65 or 66. But you've got to track it, because if you see it as a visual track, it's really, really hard to then break the habit. Absolutely brilliant book. I do go into more detail in the day 2 video. The next thing we spoke about was accountability. And I love this quote. Isn't it too convenient just to forgive yourself, let yourself off the hook? What will keep you from doing it again? So humans, we are very good at holding ourselves to account. But if things are a bit difficult or something else comes up or we're having a bit of a down day or excuses, we will give ourselves a free pass. We'll let ourselves off the hook. So with accountability, what really works is being held to account by somebody else. And I do this for my clients. So I have 6 or 7 people that I'm working with at the moment, just on accountability basis, where they have what they want to be held accountable for. I won't go into the details, obviously. And I make sure that I message them at the points when they've asked me to message them to say, have they done their accountable action that day? And yes, that's really beneficial for them, but it's actually benefiting me as well, because I'm holding them to account and they're holding me to account to hold them to account. So it's also building up my accountability as well, which is absolutely brilliant. Love it. So if you have something that you need to be held to account for, be it doing your work before you do the thing that you want to do, or if it's contacting X number of people a day if you are trying to build an online business, if it's putting products on your e-commerce shop, if it's as simple as going to bed at a certain time or getting up at a certain time in the morning, drop me a message. I will be happy to help you out. We then looked at the last approach, which is my planituding journal. The planituding journal is a combination of gratitude, planning, and intentions. I did a whole 5-day seminar on it back in September, I want to say, all on YouTube and also accessible in the SPI Facebook group. But I put it together. It came from kind of an idea of I need something that I can write in every day that allows me to plan what I'm going to do and keeps me on track. So each day in the journal has these things on it. So it's got, what am I grateful for today? Because having an attitude of gratitude puts you in a brilliantly good vibration at all times. You can be literally grateful for the air that you breathe. If you're having a really bad time at the moment, if you are having a really bad time, know that law of opposites, there will be an equally as good up. You just have to find it. It will come. Okay? off topic, but I had to put it in there. So you write down 3 things at least that you're grateful for. Then you write your list of things that you want to get done tomorrow. So the idea of this is that you do it in the evening. So what do I want to get done tomorrow? And then you prioritize them. So it could be 6 different things. And then when you get up in the morning, you start with number 1 and you ignore the rest. They're written down. You're not going to forget them. So you focus on number 1 until number 1 is finished or as done as you're going to get it done. Then you move on to number 2. You forget about number 1 and you have no thoughts about 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay? Then there's a little section for intention, which we didn't really touch on in day 2, but it is basically, what do you intend for tomorrow? So I intend not to eat any biscuits in the staff room at the school, if you're a teacher. It's a Friday, it's the end of term, it's Halloween half term, the staff rooms are going to be full of chocolate and cake and sweets to get the teachers through the day, because the kids are all wired on the last day of term. But my intention could be to not touch that chocolate because I'm watching what I'm eating. And then you give yourself a little reward. Okay? Also, as part of the Planetuding Journal, it gives you lots and lots of information on the approach, how to use the journal. It's also got some templates which you can see on the screen, which are extra tips to boost your success. So it goes through like writing down a list of things that you really want, which you then turn into your goal, which you can write on every single page as well. I am so happy and grateful now that. Again, I go into that in much more detail on the Planetuding Seminar. After goals, to get to a goal, you need to change your habits. Because if you carry on doing what you're doing now, you're not going to change. To change your paradigm, you need to change your habits. So there's space for you to write down all of your habits that you have now that aren't productive. Think of new ones to replace them with, because you can't just stop doing an old habit. You will never win against your will. Your willpower will never win against your paradigm. Full stop. You will always either go back to the habit that you're trying to stop, or you'll start another new bad habit. You need to have something to replace it with. Then you choose 1 or 2 of those at a time. You go on to the next page. See, it's all logical, which is the habit you're working on and your triggers. So when you notice that you are reaching for that extra piece of chocolate cake or that extra biscuit, I will do something else instead. Go and do 10 squats in the toilet cubicle. It could be literally anything. It's your habits. It's what works for you. Okay. Also, as part of this, you get a free bookmark in the back, My Why, which basically gives you space to write down the thing that you really want, the reason that you will forsake everything else in your life, including your life, because if your goal's not worth your life, it's not really worth anything then, is it? If you don't want to give up what you have now to get it, it's not the greatest goal. Okay, you can do better. So you've got it written down there, and also space for you to do your get done list, which I did say we would go over quickly. So just let me see if I put a slide. I did. See, this is how important I think that get done lists are. So a get done list is, instead of a to-do list, it gives you the opportunity to move your things across. So you start with a get done, you then move it to doing. When it's done, you move it to got done. And then you've got a whole list of little wins. So you've got a whole list of things that you can look at and go, I did that. So rather than just scribbling out the to-do list, it does look awesome, I will agree, crossing out things on a to-do list. And yes, I am one of those people that will add extra things as I do them, which were extra, but because I've done them, I write them in because I like crossing them out. But a get done list basically means that you have a whole list of things that you can read, that you can visually see, that you can go, I did that. I have achieved so much today. When you are feeling a bit like, oh, I haven't really done anything today. You have. It's on your got done. So this can be done either on a corkboard or post-it notes on a wall. You write your get dones, you move it to doing, you move it to got done. You don't bin it. It's all there. or it can be done on an Excel spreadsheet, for example, where you just drag them across. Okay, so that was the whistle stop tour. The homework as well last night. Did you do it? Did you start consciously choosing to do something else instead of your bad habit? Did you use the template? Get in touch if you do want a reminder on how that works. So, Q&A. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat box live at the moment in the comments, but like I said, I do have some that have come in before. So the first one that came in as part of yesterday's was, can I have some more information on the planituding approach? So as I've said, there is a 5-day recorded seminar. They're about 30 to 45 minutes per day. It's on my YouTube channel. Link below. Search for Rethink Your Perspective. And I will also put the link to the playlist in the comments box now. So there it is. Also, I have obviously got a website, and there is a whole page dedicated to the planituding approach, which again I will put into the comments for you. So just get that over there. That was the handy thing about having questions sent in before. I can get the links ready for you. Okay. So yeah, there's loads of information both in the seminar if you're a visual and auditory person, or there is a blog for you to read as well. Any more questions on that, please feel free to get in touch. The second question that came in, well, it was kind of the first question on the first day, was where did you get this information from? Now, again, I'll point you to my blog, to the Journey Start post. It's the very first post on my blog. You might have to search. There's a search button in there and just put Journey or Journey Start or Welcome and it will come up. But basically, last year, was it last year? Might have been last year. I can lose track of the years. Yeah, 2021. I was a teacher full-time in a special school here in Plymouth. And one thing led to another, and I ended up on gardening leave due to the union getting involved in a workplace misunderstanding. I am still a teacher, so obviously it wasn't anything that I had done, and luckily the union stepped in for me. I was at a really low point, and I have never been one for not being able to sleep. I love my sleep. So not being able to sleep during that time was an absolute nightmare because my mind was everywhere. As if you are a teacher, you'll relate to this, but it doesn't matter how crappy you're feeling. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter what's going on in the school. You will still try to do your very, very best for the children in your class. And that's what I was doing. So when I got put on gardening leave and my class was disbanded across a few other classes, I spent the first 2 weeks sleepless because I was like, I should be there for the kids. And it was nothing on me or them. There was just a couple of incidents in the wider school that led to that. I won't go into details because it's gone, I can't change it. It was what it was. So during those sleepless nights, I was scrolling Facebook, which I've never really done. And there is so much crap on Facebook. There really is. But I came across a few posts about personal development. And all of a sudden, the world just kind of went like that. I'd always thought that there was something more than live or be born, go to school, get good grades, get a good job. And if you don't get good grades, you can't get a good job. It's the paradigms, it's the beliefs that we're all brought up with. Get a good job, retire with a nice pension fund, live out your retirement as best you can. That doesn't really sit with me because why? Why do we spend our lives working for someone else's dream? Asking for permission to go on holiday, getting kind of looks if you ask for a day off or if you phone in sick, God forbid. Especially if you're a teacher. You phone in sick, you better have literally lost an arm or a leg. Because you can still teach without an arm, but losing your leg, yeah, you get the picture. I am happy to report that as a supply teacher now, it is so different. Teachers are being more better looked after. You can have a day off if you're feeling without being dragged over the coals and pestered and whatever. Okay, which is awesome. Things are shifting, so something good sort of came out of COVID. But anyway, I'm off track. What was I saying? Yes, so I was scrolling Facebook and came across personal development, and all of a sudden, all the things that I've always felt, which I now know was my intuition, were actually valid. So you don't have to go to school and get a good grades to get a good job. I highly support the education systems around the world, because we all need the basic level of education that school will give us, but school is not for everyone. Okay, and to be telling our children that just because they haven't gone to school and they haven't done well, that they can't do well, is ludicrous. They can still do well, they just do it in different ways. So I came across personal development, and then I came across the Proctor Institute, which is now why I'm a consultant, because the information that Bob puts out is just so mind expanding. You can't beat it, really. And I do hope that you have found this information here. Obviously, this is Whistle Stop Tour. I do facilitate a program which lasts for 6 months. It's 12 lessons, and you get a live call with me every single week, on and off. So 1 week will be a facilitation lesson for the lesson that you're on, and the next week will be a Q&A. So you can ask any questions. Obviously, I'm available in between that as well. And it's called Thinking into Results, and it is brilliant. I have gone through it myself. You get a huge workbook with lots of ways to implement, see that word again, the stuff that you are learning. And it's brilliant. It's so freeing to be able to know that actually you're in control of everything that you do, not the world. It's how you see it. And it's learning that is really opening up, and I feel happier than I ever have in my entire 35 years, apart from when I was a child, obviously. And all of this is kind of natural when you're a child. You use your imagination, you daydream, you go off on adventures in far off lands. That gets drummed out of us in usually around about year 5, year 6. Grow up, stop daydreaming. Okay, so yeah, and the planetuding idea just popped up one day, a couple of months ago, I want to say. No, a little bit longer than that. Yeah, be a few months ago now, because obviously I've had it printed, which I'm so happy for. These are available in A5 and A4 on my website. Rethink Your Perspective on the programs page. Okay, so the next question that came in really stood out to me, because it shows that I'm doing something right. And it was, I'm a little offended. Are you insinuating that everything in my life I have caused? And that's the paradigm shift. We spend so much of our lives blaming other people, blaming the circumstances, blaming the economy, blaming the government, blaming anything other than taking responsibility for ourselves. So yes and no, you are responsible for everything that's ever happened in your life, your adult life especially. Children not so much, because they do not really get a say, and if they try to have a say, they kind of get told off. Okay, but as an adult, every decision you've ever made has led to where you are now. Now yes, you may have made those decisions, and I'm sorry if this offends people, and I do not mean to belittle anyone who's been through a really rough life, full stop. There are exceptions to this, where you have not had that choice. But if you look at your life, really look at it, you will spot a few things that you chose. You chose to stay in a situation, for example, and it could be for really valid reasons. So people choose to stay in violent relationships because 1, they don't know any different, 2, they think the person might change, or 3, there's children involved, or 4, they can't see any other way out. Okay, and that is a choice. And lots of people live with that choice. And I'm not belittling that choice, and I'm not agreeing with it or disagreeing with it. Everyone makes their choices at the point that they make them. Okay, so you've made your choices based on your surroundings, where you were at the time, and where you are now as a result of the choices that you have made. Do I regret some of my choices I've made? Hell yeah. If I had a time machine and went back in time to change them, would I? No, probably not. Because if I hadn't experienced the stuff that I've experienced, I wouldn't be where I am today. I could be better, yes, but I could be worse. You just don't know. There's the whole parallel universe theories and everything else where people say they do get like snippets of another life and things like that. But we can't change the past. We can't predict the future. So don't worry about either of them. All you have is right now and the decisions that you can make right now. And now you're understanding this, you can start going forward, making decisions more consciously. So rather than just being controlled by your current results and thinking, well, I hate this result, I really don't like it, do something about it. Choose to look at it and go, well, I don't like that result. I want to do this instead. Go and do it. All it takes is conscious choice, shifting your paradigms. Okay? If this is something that you are literally sitting there thinking, yeah, but I don't like my results, but I can't see a way out. How am I supposed to do it any differently? Get in touch. I am more than happy to speak you through with no obligation, no selling of anything, get you understanding where you are now, where you want to be, and how to cross that bridge. If you then choose to take a paid program later on, that's entirely up to you. But these 30-minute discovery calls are literally that, discovery. Discover where you are and where you want to be, and let's get you started building that bridge. Okay? The link is on the last page of the slideshow. So the next question that came through was, where can I get a planetuding journal? As I said, that is on my website. You can go to rethinkyourperspective.com/planetuding to download a free electronic copy. And I will post this link into the thing. Like I said, having questions sent in previously allows me to get the links ready. Go to my programs page where you can order either A5 or A4. They are currently printed in the UK. I am looking for expanding so that it can be sent worldwide, because I feel that this needs to be everywhere. And like I said, if you go onto the Planetuding webinar system, you will see a little bit more in-depth, or a lot more in-depth, on how the system works and how it can work for you. Okay, so the next question that came in, because there still haven't come any in the live, which is absolutely fine, was, how do I know I'm making a committed decision? And it will be your intuition. It will just feel right. It will be causing butterflies in your stomach, the fear, but that's your paradigm. You will know if it's a negative or a positive fear. Your intuition will know if that decision is going to really hurt you or is just scary because it's so different to what you're doing now, which is your paradigm. Okay, so your paradigm causes the fear. It wants you to stay where you are. Where you are, it knows. It's safe in its opinion. It's predictable. It doesn't give a crap if you're happy, because it doesn't have a feeling. You create the feelings by what you think. So if you want to make a decision and it scares you, do it. Because you will know if it's a good scare or a bad scare. Okay? The good scare is just it's excitement. I read something somewhere, I can't quite remember where it was, where they said basically there is only one emotion, and that's excitement. And we interpret it as fear, or happy, or excited, or crap, I'm going to die, or worry, or anything like that. But it's all excitement. You will know if the decision is right for you. Listen to your gut instinct. Okay? The next one that came in for me was, in fact, the last one that came through early this morning. Can you give me some more tips on how to set my goal? Now, this is something that is much better to be worked through one-to-one, because it's a very personal subject. I can give you an outline now, and I'm happy to, because we've still got 9 minutes. So I will happily give you an outline. But if you want more in-depth, we really do need to get on a call. And like I said, it's no obligation. I'm not going to sell you anything in that call. I want to get you started on your goal. But to get started on your goal, you need a goal. So in a general sense, you need to decide what you want. So the best way to decide what you want is to find a quiet place, sit in a comfortable chair, and daydream. So you need to get into an absolutely relaxed state and let your mind wander. Really focus on the question, what do I want? What do I want? Have you seen Pirates of the Caribbean? Where Jack's sat there with his compass going, I know what I want, I know what I want, I know what I want. And then looks at it and the compass is spinning. It's because he doesn't know what he wants. He can't decide. He knows what he thinks he wants, but deep down there's something else that he wants. But the reason he's not going for that is because he thinks he can't have it, Elizabeth, and he thinks that she will reject him, which she kind of does. But he's going for that because that's what he really, really wants. So you've got to really be clear on what it is that you want. Once you've got that down, so you know what you want, start imagining yourself as if you've already got it. So put yourself in that future you's shoes. You know what you want, you can see yourself with it. Once you can see yourself with it, start to feel like that person. So really feel what that person is feeling. Let it really, really impress it on your subconscious. Feel the happiness, feel the pride, feel the excitement. Feel it, really feel it. And then every chance you get, focus on that image. Focus on how it makes you feel and focus on all of the things that person is doing. That's you. It is you. Your goal is a place and you can get there. So focus on where that place is, how it makes you feel, and how that person is acting. What do they dress like? What do they say? What kind of personality traits do they have? You can have all of that because you can imagine yourself with it. Okay? Keep doing that over and over again. Constant spaced repetition gives that image to your subconscious mind, which then believes it's true. You're creating a memory. Your subconscious doesn't know if it's in the future or in the past or in the now, but you've created a memory by thinking about it. So keep focusing on that memory, make it stronger, really feel it. Your subconscious thinks it's true, and then it gets to work through the creative mechanism to create it in the real world. So it manifests it for you. And then that's where your intuition will give you ideas. You'll just get random spur of the moment ideas. Always keep a pen and paper with you or your phone. Make a voice note or a note, because you will get random splashes of inspiration. Follow them. That's your intuition. That's the supreme power, the creative mechanism of the world telling you, if you want that, you need to do this. And it will give you it step by step. Okay? Just double check that nothing else has come through live. No, you're all very, very quiet. But that's okay. Get in touch privately. So, again, oh, no, not again. So, next steps. If you do have any more questions, please send them in. All of my contact details are below, and there is another link on the next slide as well. So you can have a look through my website. You can contact me by email, any of my social media streams, whichever one works for you. On the next page, there is a link for you to book your discovery call. It's a one-to-one, half-an-hour call over Zoom or over the phone or over Teams or Skype, whichever works best for you. If you're near me, let's meet up for a coffee. I'm more than happy to go out for a coffee or go out for lunch or whatever and sit down with you and find out where you are now. I don't judge because I don't like being judged, so I do not judge others. You are where you are because that's your life. Where you want to go, and step 1 in getting you there. After step 1, there's step 2, and they'll all start to flow. But to start a journey, you have to take the first step. I also highly recommend you travel over to my SPI Facebook group or my YouTube channel and watch the Planetuding seminar sequence. You can watch day 5 first, the summary, which will give you an overview of the 4 days before that, so you can then pick and choose which one of the subjects really, really you think will help you. Okay, I will post the link at the end of this video, so you can put the little cards in. I will put that link as day 5 of the Planituding summary seminar. Got an S in there somewhere. Okay, so but for now, massive thank yous for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please feel free to replay or share it or download it or get in contact in any of the ways possible, and let's get you started. As I said, down there, I'm getting better at this. You will see my Calendly link. All of my free spots are on there. It's linked to my Google Calendar, and I keep it up to date. So please, if you want to get in touch, please set up a call. Not for my benefit. I want to get you started onto the path of where you want to go. But you can't go where you want to go until you know where that is. Okay? So get in touch. I hope to hear from you soon. I hope you have enjoyed this seminar. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day wherever you are in the world. I am off to bed shortly, once I have uploaded this video and sorted a few other things out for you lovely people. And yeah, I will see you on the next live event or when you book your call. Talk to you soon. Have a great evening. Bye bye.